Yes, indeedly doodly. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McClain here with easily one of my top 5 favorite guest co-hosts, Wesley Solar Source.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you for joining me, bud. Yeah, this is one of the up-and-coming new future talk radio show hosts in the city of Tucson. So I won't spoil anything too much, but
right.
I'm excited for you, brother.
I am excited to work with you.
Yeah. Well, the pleasure is all mine. I mean, I know, like, I can see by the look in your eyes, you're honored and you're excited for what the future has in store for us. But when God brings people like you in my life, I feel blessed, brother. I really do.
As do I.
Yeah. So, and speaking of that sweet little God of ours, this would not be the Common Good Radio Show if I did not give grace to him first and foremost, put him first, not only in my life, but in this radio show, because myself, our 2 guests today, John Spur and Dr. Rachel, the guy sitting across from me, our guest co-host Wesley, we're all so very blessed. I mean, we could probably spend a whole show talking about all the blessings that we have in our life, and none of that would be possible without a very loving God. And I want to start with a prayer that goes a little something like this. Dear God, thank you so much for being here in our lives. Thank you so much for loving us and guiding us, making possible what we're incapable of making possible without you, Lord. We ask that you can continue to guide us, continue to guard us, and not only look out for our loved ones, but look out for those who wish harm against us, so that they know that they're not alone, that you are there for them, know that you love them, and hopes to soften their heart so they can be the best member of the community that they possibly can be. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So, that being said, let's start off with the person who enjoys being on the microphone the most.
It's me!
With Dr. Rachel of Inspired Life Chiropractic and Wellness. Thank you so much once again for joining us, Dr. Rachel.
You got it.
Don't have to seem so excited being in here.
Hey, not everything is comfortable, and I can just go right into what I want to talk about there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes it's work. You don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But you got to get up and do it.
Yeah, and in that same vein, for the longest time, you'd come in this studio and we'd talk about all the amazing work you did and all the different ways that the work you could do could probably help me in my life and my bad hip, and I sprained my ankle that one time, all this stuff. You're like, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right, Dr. Rachel, I need to do that.
Okay, Mom.
Well,
right?
Yeah. But finally, I took you up on your advice for, you heard me complaining. And you're such a sweet person. It's kind of, I really love your approach. You're not one to like beat people over the head with your modality or what you do. It's just like, okay, well, this is what I do. I hear you're telling me I could probably fix what you're saying, but I'll let you figure it out.
These are my regular people coming in. They know when they've been bad. I don't have to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
They know it. And they're like, oh gosh, you're gonna yell at me. When have I ever?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I say, oh, well, you knew. Oh, that's why you're here. Let's work on it. Keep going forward.
For sure. I mean, and in that note, like when I first, I just at my own choosing decided, okay, I got this bad hip that everything you're saying can fix it. Let me book an appointment. And I finally did. I want to think probably 3 weeks, a month ago now that I start seeing Dr. Rachel at Inspired Life Chiropractic. And
do you have sound effects in there to do an audience applause?
Yeah. John finally got out of his own way. Yeah, this hip that hurt me every single time I played basketball, pretty much primarily only after I played basketball, but definitely every time I played basketball, I felt like I had to get hip surgery. But after just one adjustment by Dr. Rachel, that hasn't been the case. Granted, she's adjusted me twice, but even after the first adjustment, I went and played basketball the following weekend. No soreness. I don't know. It was the oddest thing. I don't know. I mean, and I guess I'll let you speak to that. You've adjusted me twice now. You kind of do a little x-ray, a little push, a little knick-knack, tallywhack. I don't even know any of the jargon whatsoever. But God, Lord and behold, my hip doesn't hurt anymore. So, yeah, please walk us through it.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Walking you through coming in. I'm here to educate and meet people where they want to be met. And I will tell people until I'm blue in the face, and I'll just keep telling them.
Yeah.
This is what you need to do. Oh, yeah. I mean, people know. I shouldn't eat this. I should do this. These are the daily things. I'm here to help coach them through that. And the ultimate thing is everyone needs to get on the chiropractic table, whether they need an adjustment or not. They need to get in and get checked. And so that's from whether you waited till you're 39 and going to be 40. And I feel like I needed hip surgery after I got done playing basketball on Sunday is a ridiculous statement that somebody who's young and healthy should be making.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you. Now I know.
John and I work out this morning and we're walking to our networking group going, oh gosh, if someone was chasing us right now, trying to kill us, just do it, right? We can't even
I was going to
move.
lay down, just play the bear approach, huh?
But part of it is on these daily things of people's aches and pains. Some of it's serious chronic stuff, and some of it is like, I woke up because I slept dumb. I worked out hard. It's about recovery. It's never going to go away. There's going to be a couple, what do we call them? The roses of the garden. They'll be perfect, like you, after 1 or 2 adjustments, and you were way better. But that's not everybody's case. It's a constant. Like, you need to work at it. I said just at the beginning, my regular people, and that's whether they're coming in weekly, every other week, every 3 weeks, once a month, when they feel they need it. But they know that they need to keep working on it, or it comes back, because life stresses don't go away. They bombard you every day, and sometimes it's more and sometimes it's less. It's different categories of stress. It doesn't matter. It's always going to be there. We're always going to have gravitational pull. You don't have a astrophysicist here, do you?
No.
Gravitational
Wesley?
pull.
Nope.
No. Okay.
I
Nope.
won't claim any of
As
that.
far as I know, we're going to have gravitational pull for a while.
Uh-huh.
These are just our daily wears and tears
Mhm.
that need constant adjusting to keep going in the right direction.
And I guess kind of in that same note, we got about a minute, so we have to jump into our first break. What's something that, like, people just, for me, for the longest time, I just wouldn't, for the darndest, go and see you. Even though I support you 1,000%, me and my wife, we go out to dinner, we're a couple friends, I wouldn't go and get that chiropractic just to sit on the table. And I think something that you really said that rung a note with me. My wife, she's a therapist. I tell people at least once a year, you want to check underneath the hood and make sure you're okay.
It's a little more often with chiropractic,
Okay.
but why don't we
go down that road?
reverse the question to you
Okay.
and say, why did you wait till it's a problem? Why don't we ask this gentleman over here who came to our beautiful open house hobbling in his boot because of an Achilles tendonitis, right?
Tendonitis, yeah.
And today we saw him, and it's like, hey man, how's that ankle? How's that foot? And he looked at it. He's like, oh, I need to get in.
Yes, absolutely.
People need to just invest in themselves so that they put that time, put that effort in, because it's now or it's later. It's not going to go away. What does our termite guy say? It's not if you're going to get termites, it's when. So
Nice.
whether you have aches or pains, is it going to come out as like, oh man, I've got really severe arthritis, and now what do we do? We're limited on what we can do. So when we come back, I can share some of the daily wears and tears, people that I see. You mentioned blessings, and every day it's a blessing that I get to do what I do and see what I do and help the people that I help. But that rolls over to them, allowing them to continue to do the things in their life that they want to do, whether it's helping people or being the best mom or dad that they can be.
Nice. Beautiful segue. As Dr. Rachel said, when we come back, we'll talk about all that and more. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain, here with Wesley Solar Source. Big thank you to our sponsors, Solar Source, Inspired Life Chiropractic, Inspired Life Mortgage, Picture Rock Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Gap Ministries, Veteran Rescue Mission, Home Community Service, Erica Art, and some other people. Hello, all you beautiful people with your well-kept clothes, and they're all clean in your nice little house, and looks like you wash behind your ears. Good job. Way to go. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain, here with my good buddy, Wesley Solar Source, SORCE.
That's SORCE. That is correct.
And just in case those are listening and they just like that smooth sound of your voice and they want solar for their home, how can they get that?
All you have to do is call to make an appointment, 520-223-1729, 520-223-1729.
Yeah, and I strongly suggest just have him over for tea and crumpets at least, because he's just a really fun gentleman to hang out with.
Tea and crumpets, okay.
But if you do want no money down solar and be paying toward your solar system rather than your electricity bill, and actually be acquiring assets rather than just paying rent for your electricity ostensibly, I think Wesley's the guy to call. Is that a good commercial?
That's
We'll
perfect.
take that? Okay,
Yep.
good, thanks. So on another note, we have somebody who's also about your wellness, not so much your energy and financial wellness, but the wellness of your body. And before we went to the break, we were talking about me taking Dr. Rachel's good advice and having her adjust me and now being a new client of Inspired Life Chiropractic, and my guest co-host Wesley needing to take her
Yes.
advice. And I'm guessing he'll be doing that soon because he's a really smart guy. But tell us more about some of the other smart people that you've been working with over the years, Dr. Rachel, and some of the success stories.
Oh, I love my success stories. I love my daily, my weeklies, my every other weeklies. But this is just to think about, not that I treat these conditions. Chiropractic is meant to help remove interference, help the body work at its best. So I'm not treating specific conditions like headaches or lower back pain. Just as I'll get into some of the other modalities and therapies that we have in the office, we're not treating specific diseases. We're just giving the body its best chance.
Mm-hmm.
And along the way, whatever we need to give to support that. But I just went through my schedule this morning, just looking at the people. I've got an insurance agent. He's a dad of 3. He's had 2 past neck surgeries, and it was a necessity. There's that time and place. But he's been coming in usually weekly for years, because if he doesn't, his body starts falling apart and he can't do the things he wants to do. He's a business owner, so he provides for his family, and that's a necessity for him. I've got a gentleman, does our radio advertising, and he's got full fusion in his neck. Now, they don't tell you this often when you get a surgery and they're fusing joints, that the ones above and below it will wear out faster and eventually you'll need another surgery down the way. Sometimes they tell you, sometimes they don't. I'm here to, I just told you. If you can avoid it, great. But if you have to get it, it's important to maintain those areas. And it's also important to have a doctor that has different techniques that they can do adjustments on those areas that have hardware or that are fused. But his passion is being a referee. And I think this next week he's going away to do a tryout for NCAA.
That's an interesting concept that I never even considered. You know, as much as some people think that it's either surgery or chiropractic service or physical therapy, you know, these are the thing. You don't really think about, okay, after the surgery, then what? You know, particularly after the surgery, you need to continue that care to help that area heal and to, you know, adjust to your new body with that area, you know, being repaired. Like particularly I was thinking about, you got Tyler Hero, who plays for the Miami Heat, who broke his shooting hand. So he got screws in his shooting hand. So how do you recover, you know, as a shooter, you know, making a living, having your hand not be the way it was before? So I imagine that same thing where, you know, you have somebody who's had some major surgery in their neck, particularly, like you're the type of people that they need to see to make sure that they continue to recover and they can still use that limb in their, you know, in their 80s, 90s.
That basketball player's team probably has a soft wave machine, which we have in our office. So, you know, when people come in, I'm like, let me just start with me. Let's give you a chiropractic evaluation. I'm going to lay you down. I'm going to move things around. I'm going to tell you and show you exactly what I'm seeing, that this isn't right. This is how it needs to be. X-rays show us how long problems have been there. Gives us an idea of things we should do or not do, other therapies or techniques or at-home exercises that people could do to get better and stay better longer. But, you know, I can go into what is one that I've been treating a lot lately. It's plantar fasciitis. Now, plantar fasciitis is pain on the foot. Oftentimes it's stretching of a ligament on the bottom. It hurts. If any of you guys have had it, you get out of bed, you get up from the chair, it's shooting pain. People start walking different. And so if it's from the foot, maybe their ankles will compensate, their knees will change, their hips will change. It could go all the way up to, you know, posture changes causing headaches. So when does it become important now that you pick up the phone and ask for some questions? Can you help me? You know, what should I do? But adjustments are good for correcting the posture, balancing out the muscles. So people's they're balanced, it's their gait. And then we need to work on, if chiropractic isn't specifically helping that plantar fasciitis ligament tendon pain, because that's really challenging, we look to the other things. What can my massage therapist do to help you? What can my acupuncturist do to help you?
You just said a sentence right there. If you were to put a gun to my head and just say that I couldn't say it with the plantar fasciitis pain and this, I don't know.
You should try to spell it.
Yeah.
2 I's in a row is
I
hard.
say that not, just to point out, you give yourself such a hard time about your like public speaking ability and all that, but you're so brilliant. I just want to
Yep.
give you that.
Is there a light bulb?
Yeah.
I do a lot of hand talking,
Yeah.
people. I've quoted a bunch of times, not treat anything. But that's why I say start with me and we go through. But a couple of my, I said chiropractic. I have people that have been coming to me every other week or once a month for years. And I just had yesterday, Lynette, she's a good friend. She's a realtor. She loves CrossFit. She loves lifting heavy things. And she said, my neck, and this is a serious flare-up since like December, and I haven't been able to get it under control. She does massage, she does acupuncture, she tries, like she gets adjusted. And she said to me, I feel like I'm losing my will to live. And I said, come with me. And we took a quick x-ray, and I said, well, this is what's going on right now. It's an updated x-ray. I mean, she's been with me for over 10 years. She's got a reverse curve in her neck posture, and I adjusted her. I showed her what I was going to do, and she's like, give it to me, let me try. I'm like, just lay it on the table. I got to adjust you first. And I adjusted her, and I flipped her over, and I put her on this neck orthotic. I mean, she was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm going to go home and lay on this thing all day. I said, no, you're not. That's why I already told you less is more. We're starting with this. But like, these are the little things that I have available in my office that I can say, this isn't working, now let's do this. Another lady pulled me aside a couple of months ago, and she's like, we need to have a serious talk. Oh gosh, what did I do?
Yeah, I hate
right?
my wife
Oh
says
no.
that.
And she's been coming in like at least monthly for years, and she's like, this lower back pain. I think I've talked about her before. And she goes, it's like an 8 out of 10, and I can't do anything. And I said, we're not going to adjust you today. And I took her and we did a soft wave exam. And after the exam, she was able to bend over, pick up her purse. It went from an 8 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10.
It's
Wow.
amazing.
Like,
Wow.
they're just daily wear and tears.
Mhm.
Like, what caused it? I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know, but
So-
it's there.
For those who want to connect with Inspire Life Chiropractic and Wellness on the plethora of services you provide, how can they get a hold of you?
520-390-2966 will get you to our office. You can find us on social media. Our website's inspiredlifechiropractic.com.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you once again, Dr. Rachel, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
That's Dr. Rachel with Inspired Life Chiropractic and Wellness. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McLean here with Wesley Solar Source, SORCE. If you have not been to veteranrescuemission.org or homecommunityservices.com yet, please check them out and find more about the radio show as well as the work we do to connect homeless veterans with housing.
Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show with your host, John McLean, brought to you by the Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Wesley. I'm your guest host, Wesley Source of Solar Source, your source for solar. So, John, we're here with John Spur, Inspired Life Mortgage. Let's see how many times I can mess that up.
No, you're going to get it. This is good. I mean, for the
it makes
first
you-
run, it's really nice.
If it makes you feel better, I answer the phones for both chiropractic and mortgage, and I constantly screw it up.
Yeah, for sure. But
Have
he
you
has-
ever mashed those two words together? Because that would be impressive. I think I would really enjoy it.
Chiro Mortgage,
Yes. There we go. There it is.
Morgo Practic.
I know he could do it.
So, tell me, John, for those who don't know what you do at Inspired Life Mortgage, what do you do?
Mortgage.
Wow.
Sorry, I had to do that. I just had to do that and get the look on your face, like really one word. I'm a mortgage broker. I've done this for 31 years. I worked for all the big banks and the big box mortgage companies, and I just got tired of watching things done not the way I would do it. I'm not going to say wrong, but just there's a better way. And I feel like over the last 4.5 years that I have done a better job on my own than I would have ever done working for other companies telling me what they wanted and what product they wanted to sell, as opposed to me getting to know the individual and giving them options and choices. And that's what I do. I'm all about educating and giving them options and choices instead of saying, this is the loan you're doing. Here's all the choices we have. What makes the most sense?
Fair enough. So if you have somebody that comes in with credit issues, for instance, you can help them fix those?
Absolutely. That seems to be my entire world right now. Credit problems happen for multiple reasons. Lost your job, COVID, couldn't work, sick, illness, breadwinner passes away. There's just all different things that cause people to have a credit issue. Most people don't go borrow money and then go, here's the middle finger, I'm not going to pay you. That's not what they do.
At least once we got out of our teens, at least.
Really, exactly, right? So the question is, how do we get you back on track, and how do we take care of those items? And by no means am I a credit repair agency, and I don't hold those licenses. But again, 30 years of experience and understanding how credit works and the ways that we can fix it, and all the tools that I have, absolutely. I have 4 or 5 people right now that we're working on, and some are 90 days out and some are going to be a year, but they're putting in the work on their end. And if you have credit problems and you put in the work on your end, I will fight with you until we get you into a house.
Fight with for.
Well, fight for them, but with them. No,
I get it.
I'm telling you right now.
There was a little bit of fighting with me to actually use my VA loan. So actually that's an accurate statement.
Yeah, no, we had to fight with you, use your VA loan. We had to fight to get you in to go to chiropractic care.
Yeah.
I mean, dare I ask, are you part mule?
I am part mule, yes, on my mother's side.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not touching that one.
You're probably better.
So you help, but you help to get a mortgage, and that's the goal, and that's why we do the credit repair.
It's education. I do all of it now through education and educating and getting people to understand what they're getting into. And if you think about it, the last 20, 25 years, financial education hasn't been in the school system at all. At all. I mean, I have people come in, they don't even know they get a pay stub.
Wow. Yeah. I think that there are some schools that are changing that, though.
I hope
a little bit, yeah. But so you touched on the VA. So there's some things that have changed with the VA recent VA borrowers, or
so I just have some interesting stories with some VA borrowers right now. The most recent one is a borrower that went and purchased a vehicle. From a person that he's bought several vehicles from. Goes in and he's got great credit, buys the truck, signs the paperwork. They're telling him he doesn't have a payment for 90 days. They got him a great deal at XYZ credit union that's out of state. And he has his payment coupon, goes over to a credit union in Tucson that's a shared branch, makes the payments, so on and so forth. Comes in and decides he wants to buy a house. Pulls credit. His credit score is garbage. And his brand new truck that he's had for 6 months is showing it's 120 days late, and he's never made a payment on it. Well, it turns out that the auto dealership didn't ask him what his new address is. And then the auto dealership sent his insurance to the wrong bank. And so the bank he's currently with didn't think he had have auto insurance, and so it added insurance to the payment. So he was making his payment of X. The bank was expecting Y, and they weren't applying it. And they've been trying to get a hold of him via mail and phone, but they had all the wrong information. And now his credit is garbage.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to fix it. I know how to fix it. I have all the documentation, but it's going to be 3 to 6 months.
Right.
Well, the moral of this story is don't sign any paperwork until you verify if your information is correct. Right?
Right.
Even though you've known the person for years, don't trust that they put the right information on the paperwork. You got to read everything.
Right. Absolutely.
But there's an example of somebody's credit getting messed up, and they didn't even do anything. So multiple errors from a third party trashed this guy's credit. Wow. So, another VA borrower, their family's expanding. This will be the third time I've done a loan for him and done a VA loan. And a lot of people think you can't have multiple VA loans, and you can, but there's got to be a reason.
I was going to ask about that, actually.
So there has to be a reason to build, and it could be the military's transferring you from one state to another. But something that I think a lot of people don't understand is if your family's expanded and you've outgrown the house, and you can demonstrate you've outgrown your home, you can go buy another house with another VA loan and still keep the other one. And so this will be the third time we've done this for him, and he promises me this is the last time they're having children, but I've heard that multiple times too.
Yeah, it happens.
But these are the things that I come across that I know how to work with and how to deal with, and look at, come up with options, and come up with solutions that just aren't an everyday, ordeal or normal mortgage. So these are just examples of the things that I want to be able to take care of that I don't think other people have in their wheelhouse or in their toolbox.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're going to talk about all that and more with John Spur with Inspired Life Mortgage, not Inspired Life Chiropractic. He's not a chiropractor, as he reminds me regularly, but his wife is. So
He answers the phone.
he does answer the phone,
Sometimes.
for sure. So if you do hear him say Inspired Life Chiropractic, it's because he's answering the phone there. It's not because he's a chiropractor. Right? Correct?
That's correct.
And so we'll talk about all that and more after the break. This is a Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain here with Wesley Solar Source, SORCE. If you have solar needs, Solar Source is the one you want. What's the tagline?
If I'm Wes,
yeah, exactly. So go to veteranrescuemission.org for more information about him, us, and I don't know, whatever you're looking for.
welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show with your host John McClain. I'm going to mess up your last name every time.
It's
I'm
fine.
sorry, John.
That's fine. It's been happening my whole life.
Brought to you by the Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm your guest host, Wesley Source of Solar Source, your source for solar.
That's the line. Yep.
And we're here with John Spur from Inspired Life Mortgage. And so what about the down payment? You were talking about on the break, the down payment assistance program. You got to tell all the listeners.
DPA, down payment assistance, people that know me, I feel like those are dirty words. Because down payment assistance that we have today is not what we had 20 years ago, and it does. I don't feel like it puts a borrower in a good position. They're higher interest rates, higher closing costs. You may not be able to refinance when rates come down without paying it back. There's just so many things that aren't great about them. What I really love is grant programs.
Grant programs.
And I don't think people understand the difference between down payment assistance and a grant.
Okay.
There are a few down payment assistance programs out there that are very, very good for underserved areas and people with low income. I don't have access to those. You have to be a federally insured bank, and that's just not who I am. But the majority of the down payment assistance programs that are out there that people are getting are not that program. They don't have income restrictions. You don't have to be purchasing in a particular neighborhood. You don't have to be underserved. Anybody can get this money. Well, when anybody can get that money, there's going to be some sort of repayment to it. It's going to be in the form of a higher interest rate, in the form of you have to stay in that loan for 5 years, or if you sell it refinance, you have to pay it back. Somehow, some way, they're getting their money back. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Right. And if they are giving you a free lunch, then they want you to go on a 30-minute tour of their new property and try to sell you a timeshare, right?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Grant programs are just that. It is free money. It is a grant. And we've heard about all sorts of different grants. There are grants for anything and everything out there if you meet the qualifications. I now have access to a new grant program, and it's through Fannie Mae. It is not, it's a regular mortgage with Fannie Mae, and it's a 2% grant. And then you have to come up with 1% of your own money. And that money can be from your retirement fund, 401k, your own cash. It can be a gift from family member. You can go work a second job and save it up. It does have restrictions. You can't have a loan amount greater than $325,000. It does have income restrictions. Basically, you can't make more than $5,400 a month gross. There are some caveats to it. What I really like about this is you don't ever have to give that 2% back. It's yours. It's a down payment on the house. There's no repayment expected of it ever.
Nice.
There's no mortgage insurance. And for people that don't understand or know what mortgage insurance is, that's basically an additional charge on your monthly payment if you put less than 20% down. This program doesn't have that because that's another barrier for first-time home buyers to get into the house. I bring up first-time home buyers. This program does not require you to be a first-time home buyer.
No. Okay.
So nobody, if you are, there's a class you have to take, but it's not a requirement. And the other thing has been in the news for a while, and we've talked about it, are loan level pricing adjustments, and that was this whole to-do about people with bad credit being able to get a better rate than people with good credit and all this stuff. Well, those loan level pricing adjustments are very expensive for somebody who's only putting 3% down. Right?
Mhm.
Those are waived on this program. So
Mm.
that gets you a much better interest rate also.
Interesting.
So it's a program targeted for people that are struggling to save up the down payment and are, I don't want to say underserved, but they don't have that higher income. And Fannie Mae is currently re-looking at these income levels because incomes have gone up dramatically along with everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like Pima County is probably going to get an increase in that, and very soon it's not going to be the $5,400. It might be closer to $7,000 a month,
Mhm.
and that's going to open up a lot of doors for a lot of people that have been trying to get
Right.
into a home.
Mm. And with with Dr. Rachel, and I get occasionally with you we talk about success stories, but definitely as we're talking about this, and you kind of like giving some life hacks to people about how to even get into a home, with people who didn't even think that they were capable. What are some other kind of options for people who think that they're not even, they don't have the income, or they don't have the capabilities to get in to the house because they don't have the money down, stuff like that? What are some of these other kind of misconceptions around this that you're able to help people traverse?
Well, I'm going to just, right now, my youngest daughter has been accepted to a program up in Gilbert. It's a fast-track program for nursing, and we got to find her a place to stay up there. If you can qualify to rent an apartment with the ridiculous qualifications they have right now,
Right.
I can get you into a house. The what was it, 3 times to 5 times the rent?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Five
five times the
Interesting.
rent for income.
Wow.
First and last month's rent, pet deposit, because she has cats,
Mm.
and
Mm.
a cleaning deposit. Well, you're looking at $5,000 to $6,000 up front to even get in the apartment, with your
least.
obnoxious $500 application fee and $30 credit report fee, and then 5 times rent. I don't even need 5 times the mortgage payment to get you qualified. I mean, heck, if you make 3 times the mortgage payment, I could probably get qualified.
Mm.
So I just want to start there first. If you qualify for these ridiculous requirements to rent an apartment that are out there right now,
Mm.
we can get you into a house. That's just the first thing to think about. And you heard Rachel talk about investing in her health, and you hear me say about all the time, investing in yourself. We both say the same thing all the time. Invest in yourself. Invest in a house. You're investing in yourself. Invest in your wellness. Take care of yourself. There's not really a life hack into getting into a house. It's a plan.
Mm.
And it's never too soon to plan. Rachel had me talk to a couple of her patients 2 days ago. They're a year out. We're starting right now, because the more we can plan and come up with a plan, the better off you're going to be when it comes time to buy that house. We can save up more money. We can look at the different programs, work on your credit. So I think to answer your question, it's not really a life hack. If you want a house, let's talk and start planning.
Mhm.
It might be a year. It might be 6 months. It may be tomorrow.
Mhm.
But let's start planning now, because the longer we have to work on this, the better your options are going to be at the end.
Yeah, and I can definitely see that, because for me and my wife, I mean, when we first, met you, through Ray and Sandra with Indie Realty, we were talking about in a few months, 6 months, we want to buy a house when the market slows down, or
I wasn't having that.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't even going down that road.
But like you're saying, for us, the first step was just talking to you, because I mean, we had all these conceptions, all these ideas, all these thoughts in our head that once we actually spoke to a professional, we realized we had no idea what we were doing. We had no idea what we were talking about. And meeting with you actually put things in perspective, made it realistic. And like, my listeners heard me say on so many occasions, you helped me buy my dream home. So I guess to speak more to that, how, just so many people just you kind of the same, almost the same approach as Dr. Rachel. Like you gently encourage them to go in that direction more than twisting people's arms.
I ask questions and I listen. And I find out what your concerns are and I answer the concerns. And that's exactly what I did with you. I just asked questions, I listened, and your general number one concern was you didn't think you had VA eligibility. And I'm a VA expert. I know how to work that system, and we figured it out. But, and I mean, Rachel does the same thing. We ask questions, we listen, and then we put together a plan. I was talking to my middle daughter yesterday at length about all sorts of different things. It was 3 different conversations over a 2-hour period. And it finally sunk in with her, and she's 24 this year. I don't know how old my kids are.
I don't blame you. No worries.
But she said something that I've said to them their entire life is, I don't have problems, I have solutions. I don't have problems, I have a plan. And she just said it. She goes, this really isn't a problem. I think I have a solution. I'm like, my gosh, you finally got it. It's sunk in. But that's what I do. It's not, there aren't problems. It's how do we plan or how do we come up with a solution to your concern or your question. And again, maybe we put you in a house in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe it's a year. But if the individual's willing to listen and give me honest feedback when I ask questions, and they want to put in the work that they have to do, and it is a fight, we both have to fight because there's certain things that I can't do for them. They are going to have to pick up the phone and make certain phone calls. But I will fight all day long beside them to get them where they need to be. So it's, I don't know if that exactly answers the question you asked, but it's in a roundabout way. It's education and it's options and it's planning.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's definitely I've gained a lot in this relationship, definitely in having you on the show. And in my life, we wouldn't be in the dream home. Likely we would have probably lived in a house that had less bedrooms, smaller, not as nice of a neighborhood, but you definitely, it seemed like you're able to kind of get into alleyways that we didn't even realize existed. So once again, I'll thank you for that.
You make me sound like Batman, like dark alleyways, nobody knew what there.
You are my Batman for sure. Yeah, you just look just like him. So for those that are interested in, a sit down, interested in buying a home, maybe looking to buy a home a year from now, that you'll make them realize that they should probably do it tomorrow. What's the best way they can get a hold of you and set up an appointment?
Call me on my cell phone, 520-247-3610. Or they can always find me on the website at inspiredlifemortgage.com. Or you can watch videos if you really like listening to my voice at Truth About Mortgage on my YouTube channel. Truth About Mortgage, which are really cool videos. And I definitely, with that and with a lot of stuff, I look forward to see what's on the horizon for the Inspireds, because you guys are very inspiring, pun intended. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain. Thank you, John Spur and Dr. Rachel, for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Wesley, Solar Source, your source for solar. Thank you for being here, brother.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, we will see you, all you beautiful people, next week, and you moderately looking people, we'll see you next week as well. God bless.